Hey everybody, welcome to my Suburban Oasis. So today I'm going to do a plant haul with you. I'm going to show you some of the plants that I got from my local Lowe's as well as my local Horrocks nursery. And one of the things that I have done is plant some of them already, so we're going to have to go around the garden a little bit to look at some of them in the ground. So my name is Soleil and I garden in a zone 5B in mid-Michigan, and it has been cold, you guys. We've had two frost advisories and definitely a good frost. So that was why I've been in a hurry to try to get some of the plants in the ground. So let's take a look at what I've got. I think it was a fantastic find, so you guys are going to love it.
All right, we are going to start with these two plants right here, which are called Spilled Wine Weigela. Just look at the gorgeous foliage on these. And I'm actually thinking about placing these into these two urns. These two urns sit here during the winter time, and even though these are a deciduous shrub, they are hardy down to a zone 4, and they go up to a zone 8. And because we are zone 5B, I'm thinking these should be okay. If they don't make it, I guess that's all right as well, because I did get an awfully good deal on these. But these go in full sun, and they grow 2 to 3 feet tall and 3 feet wide. And they have this really beautiful kind of upright arching habit that I think will look really good. And if they get too big for the pots, I can always plant them out into the landscape. So these have really beautiful flowers in the spring, they have like a dark fuchsia, which is absolutely stunning. And then they have a pretty bark as well. At least I think it's pretty. And they have just a really beautiful habit. So the dark foliage is gorgeous. Okay, next up we have some different plants over here to show you. This one here is a Penstemon, and these flowers got a little bit damaged by the frost, but I've had some really good luck with Penstemon this year. So this one is called Pristine Pink, and I have the Pristine Blue that performed really well in my garden this year, so I thought it would be fun to have the pink as well. Now here's the tag on this. It is a bloomer that goes from late spring through summer, and it takes full sun, and it grows 12 to 18 inches tall and 16 to 18 inches wide. I haven't decided exactly where to place this one yet, which is why it's one of the ones that I haven't put into the ground yet. But it's considered a showy long blooming plant, and it's perfect for the perennial garden, and it makes an excellent cut flower and can attract hummingbirds and butterflies. And the songbirds also enjoy the seeds. So you can see the seed pods on here right now. So that one is beautiful. And then this plant is not that lovely looking right now. It's actually getting some dark purple foliage on the ends from the cold, frosty weather. But this is actually a perennial verbena, and it is called Homestead Hot Pink Verbena, and it is a perennial, which I have not seen a perennial verbena that looks like this. So we'll put pictures up of these plants for you. And it has clusters of hot pink flowers on trailing foliage, and it blooms from May to frost, and it gets 6 to 10 inches tall, and it goes in sun to part sun. It has some deer resistance, and you know, I think this is going to be beautiful. I may be able to split this a little bit as well so that I could get more than one out of it, but I'm looking forward to trying this in the garden, because overall verbena performs really well for me and reblooms a lot. So if this really performs the same as an annual, that is going to be absolutely amazing. Next up we have this gorgeous Blackbeard beard tongue, which means it's also a Penstemon. And this Penstemon has very beautiful deep burgundy purple foliage, and the Blackbeard actually blooms a lavender, so it's very similar in nature to the Midnight Masquerade Penstemon from Proven Winners. So I'll be interested to see some of the differences in these, but it gets 28 to 34 inches tall, and about 24 inches wide, and it does like full sun. This grows in zones 3 to 8, so incredibly hardy, and it blooms early to midsummer, so the same timing as the Midnight Masquerade as well. It is supposed to also attract hummingbirds, so that's exciting, and it prefers dry to average well-drained soil, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this one out. Next up we have this beautiful light pink sedum, and this one is called Rockin' Round Pure Joy Sedum, and it is by Proven Winners, and this one also goes in full sun, and I think I probably could make more than one plant out of this. And it grows 10 to 12 inches tall, so it's a nice short compact bushy plant, and I haven't had any problems with it flopping. I have one other one in my landscape already. It gets about 16 to 20 inches wide, and it's hardy in zones 3 to 9, so again a very hardy plant. And this one again likes full sun, and it makes a really nice low mounded growth habit, and it has really beautiful domey pink flowers like you can see right now that are just all opening. Hopefully it will open fully before it completely freezes. It does not like moist soil or lots of fertilization, so it's a super easy care plant. Alright, you may or may not recognize this particular area of the garden because I have pulled out one of the spireas in this area and replaced it with this gorgeous Macrophila Hydrangea. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a serrata, I believe. It's a reblooming mountain hydrangea. And this one is called Let's Dance Can Do. So I am giving the large leaf hydrangeas another chance in my yard because I have done a lot of research, and this appears to be the best bloomer for those folks that grow it here in Michigan, so I'm hoping it will do as well for me. And this is supposed to be one of the most reliable hydrangeas with lots of pink or purple blooms. And originally when they were starting to come out, they looked more purple than pink, but they seem to be very mixed to me. And so we'll find out a little bit more about the pH of my soil in this area. But it looks absolutely stunning in terms of the flowers, and I'm hoping to see more of them before we get more frost. At any rate, this is a hydrangea that is hardy from zones 5 to 9, and it grows 3 to 4 feet tall and 3 feet wide. So I think it will fill in this area very nicely, and I really like the large leaves on it. Also, I think it's going to bring a really nice pop of color with this gorgeous clematis behind it. So this likes moist soil, but well-drained soil. And these are not deer resistant. The deer do love hydrangeas, so don't plant this in an area where they will eat it. Its interest is primarily during summer and fall, and you can see it's picking up some beautiful purple burgundy tinges on the edges of its leaves right now. So that's going to be beautiful to watch change as well. There's not a lot of pruning that's needed for these, so they're going to be an easy care shrub if they work out here. I can't wait to see how it performs next year. We'll be keeping our eye on this one for sure. And then in front of it, I got 3 new black pearls, and these were such a great deal I couldn't pass it up because they were half off. So I thought they would bring a little bit of a different foliage color to this area. They are a little bit dark, but then I have these 2 beautiful pristine blue penstemons that are between them that will shoot up their flowers. So I think that will help to bring a little bit of drama and color to this area. Certainly looking forward to seeing how it performs next year. These heucheras are similar to others in that they like well-drained soil. They're pretty easy to grow. They provide pretty much year-round interest. In many areas they're pretty much evergreen. In my area I would call them semi-evergreen because they do hold onto some of their foliage over the winter, but the color is not as great because of the cold weather, and oftentimes the snow just covers them right up. However, I find them to be a really reliable and easy plant to grow, and these, because of their really dark foliage, do great in full sun. They also can grow down to part sun or part shade. Another heuchera that I picked up, you'll see I planted these where the mega caramel were, because the mega caramel have been moved to the back of this bed because they were getting a little bit sunburnt in their area. So I have these new ones, and these are the Dolce series from Proven Winners, and these are called Silver Gumdrop. And these grow best in part shade, so we'll see if they do better than the Mega Caramel here. If not, I will trade them out with another heuchera in a different spot that does better in full sun or part sun. But these are hardy from zones 4 to 9, similar to all of the other heucheras, and they do have beautiful blooms on them. You can see the bright color of these, and they bloom from early to mid-summer. The blooms are just on these right now, probably because they were in their nursery pot, so sometimes things bloom a little bit different colors. They say that they do take on a rosy blush overtone on the leaves also during the later part of the season. I just haven't seen that yet. So we will see how these do. They definitely like humus-rich, well-drained soil. This soil is not that well-drained, but they will do well in my area still, as long as I make sure that they don't get too much water and get root rot or something like that. It does say on the tag that they are salt tolerant, so if you are in the area where you get some sea spray, or maybe you're next to a driveway or sidewalk that gets some salt on them, that they should do okay. I'm trying out a new camera today with a different type of microphone, so hopefully we don't get too much background noise. But this here is a pink diamond hydrangea tree. And I picked this one up because literally it was half off of $95, so I just couldn't pass it up. And you know, if I can find a place to dig a hole, it's really not going to take up that much space in my garden because it is on such a nice long tall stem. So the Hortensia pink diamond hydrangea tree is also unique in that it can grow in part shade. When I looked it up, I was surprised by that because most really like the full sun. But this one can do 3 to 6 hours of morning sun, and it has those type of lace cap blooms that also really attract pollinators, so I love that about it. I like the color on it. The florets look really nice and big, and the leaves look super healthy. And the other thing that I noticed about this one, there was lots of different kinds to choose from, and they were all the same price, but the thing that I liked about this one was just how nice and stiff these stems looked. They look very sturdy, so I'm thrilled about that, and I'm looking forward to getting this into the ground to see what it will look like. This one at its full height grows 6 to 8 feet tall, so it still should get quite a bit bigger, and it is hardy as most hydrangeas are down to zone 3. It does like fertilizer in spring and summer, which will help it to bloom, and typically it likes fertilizer with a little bit of acid in it. So you can use like the holly tone on these if you like. Next up, we have some beautiful grasses. So these are a Panicum grass, and this is called Heavy Metal, and I really just adore the little teeny tiny seed heads that they have. And it's a very upright growth habit, and I thought I would try it out here in the front bed because these don't get super big. They do get 36 to 48 inches tall, but only 24 inches wide. So that should fill up this space really nicely and provide a little bit of movement in this garden in addition to the Gara, which I definitely have enjoyed so far this year. And it should provide some really nice year-round interest because the foliage can remain throughout the winter. And the leaves are supposed to turn a really bright yellow in autumn. It likes full sun, and it's hardy down to zone 4 through zone 8. And it does require water regularly until it gets established, but then it's really easy to grow and does well in almost any type of soil. Once it's well established, you really don't have to water as much, and you cut back ornamental grasses like this once early in the spring before all of the new growth appears, or just as you're starting to see it come up from the ground. So I got 2 of these, and just to back up so you can see where they are placed, I have one on that side and I have one right over here as well. So I kind of did a symmetrical planting of the 2 of those, and I think they're gonna be a really nice addition to this garden bed. Look at all the rose hips while we're here. This is a Oscar Peterson rose. Isn't that gonna be pretty when all of those turn orange and red? Next up, we have this beautiful holly shrub by Monrovia, and this one is called the Scallywag Holly. And I think its foliage is super beautiful. This grows in full sun, and it really can take quite a bit of dryness. You water when the top 2 inches of soil get dry. It does have its little teeny tiny holly blooms in the springtime, and it's hardy from zones 5 to 9. It's a very slow grower. It gets about 4 feet tall and 3 feet wide. So I'm thinking that this is going to really provide some nice evergreen interest at the end of this garden bed as you enter the driveway. And I really love the color that it is adding with those beautiful burgundy edges. And it's really not that hard or pokey to the touch, so that's nice. And I'm thinking some of the foliage will fill out better this year. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, I do not know if this will get berries at all, but I really purchased it for its foliage, and berries would just be, you know, like icing on the cake if it actually had it. So we are now in the front sunbed, and this is where I dug up some of those golden tiara hostas. And after I did that, I came through and I popped in 3 of the blue, they're called crystal blue salvias. They have these beautiful light blue, almost lavender blooms on them. And I got these little quarts. They were half off of, I think they were $8. So they're like $4 each. So that was not bad at all. And they're going to fill in this area really nicely. And I find that these crystal blue salvia just perform really well. They keep blooming over time during the summer, and they are hardy down to zone 3 up to zone 8, and they grow a couple of feet tall and a couple of feet wide, and they really do like the full sun. And this is facing the west, so they will get late afternoon sun or afternoon sun as well. And in front of them, these are also new, I got some more pincushion flowers. So these are the Scabiosa. I can't find the tag on them. I'm gonna have to try to look that up so we can post the name specifically on the screen. But these are gorgeous. The size of the blooms on these are really big. They're almost about the size, I would say, of like a silver dollar. So quite large and pink. So the ones that I got before have been blue, kind of a lavender blue color, and I just adore the pink color on these. And I think I'll be able to divide these over time and make a nice little edge border here that will just continuously bloom throughout the summer. And I think that the colors of these are going to go really well. They're all planted in front of a wabi-sabi viburnum, which has some white lace cap type blooms in the springtime. So all of these will go really well together. And they all have different types of foliage and a different growth habit. So the forms will nicely contrast with each other as well in this area. So over here, I also picked up some Coreopsis, which you'll see right here and right here. It's one plant that I divided. This is a Coreopsis called berry chiffon, which is also sometimes commonly referred to as tick seed. And you can see it has these nice dark pink purple blooms on it. And I've never seen one this color before, but it definitely is a berry color. And this one blooms in the summer, pretty much all summer, and is deer and rabbit resistant, so that's part of why I got it. It also is said to attract hummingbirds and butterflies, which is very interesting. It's a great pollinator plant. It's bee friendly, and it's good for cut flowers, and it can naturalize as well if you want it to. And it's very winter hardy. It is hardy down to zone 4 up through zone 9. And it has this really nice upright growth habit that has some kind of ferny-like foliage. It reminds me a little bit of like cosmos. But it's very sturdy, very upright, and it has a vibrant raspberry red eye. So these are about 15 to 18 inches tall, and they grow probably about that same width, but it doesn't necessarily say on here specifically how wide they grow, so it'll be interesting to see. They definitely like to be grown in full sun, and they can take average to poor soil, which makes it really easy to plant them just about everywhere. And last but not least, I got some more of this red rocks beard's tongue. So there's no blooms on it right now, but you can see the foliage on both sides, and I think that these clumps will just add to these two plants to provide a little bit more color in the front of the border here, and just a little bit more density, because this Penstemon doesn't seem to have a super strong growth rate, or at least it hasn't for me yet. Of course, it's been 2 years, so next year we may get that leap type growth where it just goes crazy, and then I don't know what to do with all of them. But for now, I think this is going to be a really nice, beautiful addition to the bed. And I just love the contrast between the deep pink, well, it's almost purple now, I would say, since the frost, but it's more of a deep pink, next to the foliage of this black scallop ajuga. I think that's a beautiful contrast.
Well, I hope you all have enjoyed checking out some of the new plants that I got. I certainly had a ton of fun shopping for them and bringing them home and thinking about where I wanted to put them. So I have some more to get in the ground. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do a video on that or not, but the videos will still be coming because we have quite a bit of planting season left, and hopefully we won't get too many frosts. Normally our frost date is around the 15th of October, so it's definitely early for us. But I've got some planting to do, so we're going to try to make it hold off. Alright, thanks again for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video and saw some cool plants that you might be interested in using. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye!